Sure. So OnX is a standard based on MCP, and it exposes 12 tools. And tools are verbs. They're things you can do, right? You can capture an order, hold an order, exchange, right? You're doing something with them. And then it also exposes resources, 7 resources. So things like order, inventory, product, right? You're getting back a static document. And OnX, when you break it down, is a standard that only defines that MCP interface. And then at the time of recording on November 6th, we have 52 signed corporate members, including Manhattan and Sterling, Lajiwa, Shapiro, Manhattan on the WMS side. On the 3PL side, we have Radial, Ryder, Siva Logistics. We've got commerce platforms. We've got ERPs. We've got a broad assortment. And together we did some rough math on it. We're at more than $1 trillion in GMV transacted across those who have signed up to back the standard. So the standard is standardizing that interface on top of these back office and fulfillment systems. And then again, the goal is selling channels can then very quickly and easily communicate in real time with any layer of the system. So they can communicate with OMSs. They could even drop down to a WMS and start communicating directly with an OMS. So imagine your ChatGPT, you want to retrieve inventory, you call a specific WMS at a specific location, and now you can see the inventory that was just keyed in 10 seconds ago, right? You're collapsing those layers. So think of this as ACP or AP2, but one layer down between selling channels and fulfillment channels, and then within the fulfillment channels as well.
Yeah. And I think the nomenclature is now kind of shifting towards more tool calls. Like once you enable, what are the tool calls that you can actually end up making from an AI perspective? Would it be correct to say it's more aligned with, if you were to think about the REST protocol, which is what actually operates the API standards pretty much. And again, there are others, but from a REST standpoint, there's already like everyone understands it. Well, get means I'm going to go get something, and post means I'm going to create something, and a put means I'm going to update something, and a patch means I'm going to fix something up. It's a similar model, but to get down to, if a question is being asked, then the tool that needs to be used is, as an example, capture order, create shipment. And that's what the AI understands. So it's not going all over the place trying to figure things out. It's going, well, this is what I need to do. Let me know that the standards by which I can make a call to someone is going to be through that particular verb, as you described it. And then I get a result back from it, right? Like it's as simple as that. So it's like narrowing in focus, get the data that you're looking for.
And we literally couldn't do this with REST because you would have to have such a detailed format specification. And by the time you do that, it's just too onerous to implement as a vendor. It's too onerous to call. MCP says, okay, let's just define a common interface. And then each vendor implements it however they want.
Yep.
Right. We literally don't care. And, some of these tool calls mean different things to different vendors, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And then the selling channels, you just point it at an MCP server and say, here you go. And it will know how to call these things. And that's the beauty of MCP.
Exactly. And just to call that out as well, most vendors will end up, and most users will end up utilizing their existing APIs, either in a singular API model or composite APIs to give the results. So essentially all you are doing is like, I don't need to write all of that API stuff anymore. I could just make this call to this vendor and be able to get and retrieve the information that I'm looking for, or put information into their system. And I think it's going to evolve. To get information first is going to be the standard, because there is always information security and quality and this, that, other thing that's going to come in play. But very rapidly, it's going to be like creating information, right? That's going to be that secondary move that happens.
And look, we don't claim to have the answers to everything at this point. This is all very early. What we do have, though, is a foundation around the specification. It's the Commerce Operations Foundation. And that foundation is built to oversee the standard, drive the standard. It owns the intellectual property, right? Proper oversight. But, the benefit of that is we as a community get together and evolve and change as technology changes. And that's great, right? We now have the infrastructure to do that, where, again, it blows my mind that we haven't had something like this. And I get it, right? It's lack of APIs are uniquely bad at this type of thing. And now with agentic commerce rising and now with MCP rising and everything else, now is absolutely the perfect time for us to get together and fix it as an industry rather than all of us trying to do this one off at a time.
I wholeheartedly agree. The amount of times I think about it, because it's bread and butter for both of us, for our day jobs of what we do, is just because, let's just take the example of an order. Literally every single company, the definition of the order is the same. There is an item, there is a detail of it, there is the units that you require, and it's these 10, 15, 20 objects that are kind of the key. But every company, in their standard, in their methodology of how they define that schema structure of an order for an API, is different. You will not find two companies using the same structure, and it just blows your mind that that's where we sit today. But that's just the nature of the beast as it has evolved, and no standardization came in. Well, here's the opportunity to actually standardize how this new format going forward is going to end up operating.